my soul. After the service, you can look at these soul collage cards. These are in honor of war and a different vision for war. And it's all about the different religions coming together and honoring each other. Because at the core of it, it's of you versus them, you versus me. And we know that there is just only unity. So, blessed be. So, at this point, I'm going to share a poem. And today's talk is all about sound and music. Sacred sound, primordial, deeply reaching into the depths of our soul. Ancient toning, a way in to the presence of God, deeply connecting us to the heart of the earth. Praise and hallelujah, universal, words calling to divine presence, deeply moving us to new heights of connection to spirit. Spirit song, revealing, unearthing our truest nature, deeply presencing our divine path. Sacred sound. Primordial. Deeply reaching into the depths of our soul. blessings. What blessings. Sound and music coming from that beautiful, beautiful place. So, the first part of my talk today is going back to the masters and the ancestors and the ones who have had a lot of wisdom, and just hearing what they had to say about sound and music and healing. Do you know that our soul is composed of harmony? Anybody want to take a guess who said that? Leonardo da Vinci. Do you know that our soul is composed of harmony? So think about that for a minute. All things come together beautifully when our soul's purpose is being expressed. So have you noticed that in your own life, when you're painting, when you're talking to a friend, when you're walking in nature, that there's this harmonious coming together? And just think about the opposite, when you're feeling chaotic and stressed and out of it, and then you take a walk in nature, and all of a sudden things just drop. Or you're painting, or you're singing to your child, or you're just having some incredibly ecstatic experience of love and caring. So his thoughts were that when our soul is taken care of, we are living in harmony, and I just love that. So for instance, when I play the flute, or I do music in the moment, or giggle with my friends, one of my favorite things to do, there is no disharmony. It's just presence, and God is right there for me. Music is the mediator between the life of the senses and life of the spirit. Anyone want to take a guess at that one? Somebody famous in music from the 1700s? No?
Beethoven.
Very good. So that's our friend Beethoven. So as we chant, tone, om, we are connecting powerfully to the source. I know that that's been my experience. And I think of it as a high-powered, supercharged power strip. All systems go. So when I am chanting or toning, there's a connection between earth and sky that I'm calling in, and it's such a peaceful, wonderful, wonderful thing, and we're going to be doing some of that later. Music should be healing. Music should uplift the soul. Music should inspire. Then there is no better way of getting closer to God, of rising higher towards the spirit, of attaining spiritual perfection, only if it is rightly understood. The Sufi master, Hazrat Inayat Khan, excuse me if I did not pronounce that correctly, in the 1800s. So as we chant, we spiral our sounds up to the infinite power and down again. Anybody have that experience when you're chanting or oming, you just lose yourself. Just lose yourself in that moment. And that is really, we can access that at any time. We can access that at any time. Even in the middle of your workday, you can take a break, go outside, and just get grounded, feel Mama Earth under your feet, and just start oming or chanting, and just get back to center. And it can take no more than 20 seconds. It's not, you don't have to take an hour break. You can just really access God and spirit and that grounded feeling when you're doing that. So it is an infinite, infinite expression. And I know I happen to like infinity, that concept, on and on and on. And that the music of the past is present in this room right now. Because we wouldn't have the music present without the music of the past. So, in honor of our beloved Ashland and his adopted bard Willie, as in Shakespeare, I offer his quote, "Music can minister to minds diseased, pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with its sweet, oblivious antidote, cleanse the full bosom of all perilous stuff that weighs upon the heart." So as I reflect upon the minister to mind's disease, I think of the study of music thanatology, whereby harps, I mean, how beautiful is that harp and the way that Ruth plays it? And harps mostly are played, but other musical instruments are used as people are passing. And that whole experience, which is something I want to move into with my flute, must be the most graceful, beautiful thing to witness. So there's actual studies where people can learn to play people to the next place during their transition, and what an honor that would be. And I'm just going to read from this book, Healing at the Speed of Sound. The human voice is a sound that comes between where we're headed and what we know. With its spiritual and emotional content carried through the air, music is a metaphor for what it feels like to not have a body. Music is vibration. As such, it makes the perfect vehicle for transition. The other part of this quote, pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow. Whenever I hear Harry Belafonte's Yellow Ribbons, I can't help but think of my mother, who passed when I was 12. So is there a song in your repertoire that you hear that just brings you to those moments of God, of sacredness, of love, of memories? The music has that power. Especially when you're in the car on the radio and all of a sudden some song from, especially my teenage years, if something comes on, my whole spirit is lifted and brought back, usually to Camp White Oaks in 1975, where we used to sing together and commune together through music. And how much fun was it? Oh my goodness, just hanging out, just for the sake of hanging out and listening to music. So music is that beautiful thing that can bring us out. Raise out the written troubles of the brain. How absolutely gorgeous. That power of music to be able to do that. And a really good example of this personally is there's nothing like blasting an Aretha Franklin song and dancing around the living room to move me beyond thinking too much. Does anybody here think too much? Okay. So if you're thinking too much, take the radio, take the music, take all the albums that you have. Remember those things? They were square, vinyl, album CDs, the radio Pandora. We have so much access to music. Take a musical instrument that you know is on your shelf, just dust it off, and just play, and just listen, and just dance. And once again, that connection happens again. So, our friend Willie Shakespeare said a lot in that passage. Listening is nothing less than our royal route to the divine. Listening is nothing less than our royal route to the divine. Dr. Alfred A. Tomatis, and he is a wonderful person to study if you want to hear about listening and music. And I highly recommend a book called A Listening Book by W.A. Matthew. And I always have to thank David Darling whenever I'm talking about music, playing music. He was my mentor, my teacher, my friend. I studied with him and did music for people many, many years ago on the East Coast. And the only reason that I stand up with my flute, my piano, my voice, my drum, is because of the encouragement from him and so many other people in that Music for People, those workshops that really brought people to understand that everyone is creative. Everyone, no exceptions, has a musical sense. And maybe when they were in 3rd grade, they were told not to sing. And there's lots of wounded people out there. So David Darling would bring people together and have them sing and tone together and chant. And it was just the most magical thing. And he would do these exercises where there'd be 4 people who never played together. One could be an amateur, one could be a symphony player, And within a half an hour of the opening of the workshop, those 4 people would be playing together like they played together for 10 years. So this is the power of improvisation. And what I would say as a psychological basis for this, it's the power of allowing ourselves to go to that place where the mind gets disengaged, the ego takes a nice trip to the coffee shop, and just God and presence are there. So, as I wrap up this part of the talk, as we listen to our favorite pieces of spiritual music or song, we are transported to a musical field of infinite and deep connection. No words can actually describe the experience. And I'm reminded of Gregorian chant and tube and throat singers. If those words are not familiar to you, please Google it and listen to some Gregorian chant. As the way to God, they sang and the heavens opened, and there was just such beautiful, beautiful music. And tube and throat singers, which I aspire to overtone at some point. My friend tried to teach me. I'm not there yet. But it's in a very, very powerful, powerful way of also accessing divine spirit. And we could not have a unity talk without a quote from our beloved Rumi. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. And from the Bible, Revelation 14:2, and I heard a voice from heaven, like the roar of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the sound of harpists playing on their harps, and I might add, and Michael playing on his sweet guitar. So, what a perfect segue for our next song by Michael and Ruth.
Thank you, Donna. You know, that first song we played just a few minutes earlier was called Soliloquy. It was a piece Michael wrote. Soliloquy is an interesting word because it means something that you speak whether or not anyone's with you or present in the moment, whether anyone's listening, is something that you just speak out of your soul. And to sing with that song is a wonderful blessing for me because it's like getting to just vocalize singing from my spirit. There are no words in that song, but this song we're going to play now does have words. It's called Morning Dove.
This is one of Ruth's songs, by the way. All right.
1, 2, 3. Give me the chance to look on down, see my children dance. Oh, Spirit, if I gotta die, would you give my children my wings to fly? Because this ain't no place for morning doves. Everybody's mouths are moving and no one's saying a thing. Eyes are closed and ears are ringing with a heart that beats all alone. just one moment if I could really live. Oh, Spirit, won't you tell me that line about all those pretty ladies falling down by your side? I wish I could be one of them, and this ain't no place for mourning doves. Everybody's mouths are moving, no one's saying a thing. Eyes are closed and ears are ringing with a heart that beats all alone. Oh, great Spirit, don't you give up on me now. I've been trying to find my way back home, but I can't remember how. Oh, Spirit, what am I supposed to do now? Have you taken a look around here lately? Have you taken a look around? Some wisdom I'm in need of. Help me find a place for this morning dove. When all else is moving, let me find peace within. With eyes wide open and ears listening, and a heart that's found its home. You are my home. Oh, great Spirit, give me the chance to look on and see my children dance. Oh, Spirit, if I gotta die, would you give my children my wings to fly, to fly? Would you give my children my wings to fly? Wow, that is pretty powerful. Let's give another round of applause. Okay, so how can we individually and collectively get one step closer to divine presence? That's the question I'm putting before you and before me and before us. And we're going to have some fun this next part. Anybody like fun?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody like fun? Okay. Next church. No, just kidding. Okay. One of the first ways, and one of the ways, I should say, is the beloved practice of oming. How many people have owned? How many people have not owned? Okay, awesome. I like to say there's no place like Om. Anyway, so as we go into our oming, think about how you feel right now. So let's put our feet on the ground. Kind of get a sense of what's going on. As Norma likes to say, feel your hips on the chair. Feel your feet on Mama Gaia. Just think about how you're feeling. And as we breathe into each Om, I'd like you to visualize connecting with the primordial rhythm and music of the universe. So oming is a pretty ancient practice, and so we're going to kind of tap into that. So if you want to close your eyes
Feel your feet. I'll just get us started with a gong sound. Sorry about that. Oh. Feeling the divine presence. Remembering the infinite. And as you reflect upon how you felt before and how you felt after, I know for me, I'm buzzing. If anyone would like to share their experience.
More grounded and connected with Mama.
Beautiful.
Peace.
Beautiful.
More drawn in.
Beautiful.
Lift it up.
Beautiful.
A consistent warming.
Yummy. So we could do this for at least an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 days. I mean, this is the power of just those few minutes that we just did that. So it's once again a reminder that God presence, divine presence is always there and always accessible. And I know that there can be so many distractions and so many things going on in our life. I grew up in New York and Queens, And I went to city schools, and I went to Syracuse University, and just had all of that wonderful life and a lot of noise around me. And I lived in Manhattan, and you get to hear the rhythms of that as well. You get to understand the rhythms, and sometimes I miss that. There was like this cacophony of sounds and different voices, but there's nothing like silence and nature and the birds. Oh my goodness, the birds. Just listening to a bird song can just bring me back to why I'm here and having fun and being appreciative. So, sound, just that simple ohm. And I'm an improvisational artist, so I can come up with my own sound and just tone. So be creative. If the ohm doesn't work for you for some reason, you can just come up with your own sounds and just sing and pray with those beautiful, beautiful sounds. Everything in the universe is pulsating and vibrating. Nothing stands still. And for those scientists out there, 432 hertz is the vibrational frequency of nature, which happens to also be the same as the ohm sound. Pretty cool, huh? Ohm, A-U-M, this could be O-H-M-O-M, embodies the divine energy Shakti and its three main characteristics: creation, preservation, and liberation. So once again, within that one little sound, that one syllable, well, 3 syllables, but within that toning is the universe. So that, to me, is just a beautiful, beautiful way into God. And you can do that alone, but when it's collective. Any experiences about doing this with other people that anybody wants to share?
Donna, we used to have a healing circle in sound in Tampa when I was first ordained a minister. We would take somebody, put them into the middle, and start with one note and chant their name.
Yeah, we're going to
And
actually...
the whole room just vibrated, and the person, whatever their ailments were gone. Like, at least they got a reprieve. Let's put it that way.
We actually are going to be doing that very thing. Yes.
Think I'm psychic?
I was in Oakland, California with Mother Matinunda, and we were oming with thousands of people.
Wow. Awesome.
The roof was coming off.
I went to a rainbow gathering in New Mexico, and I had a decent time, but the best part of it was I was about to leave, and I was up on a cliff and looking down, and there were about 300 people oming. It was so beautiful to witness and to watch. But anybody have an experience here that they want to share?
Oh, I had an experience, well, it's not really here,
It's okay.
In Eugene. And it was very interesting, as we were at this place called the Mothership, which was just like this collective house. People had set it up like in the 60s, still living in a collective manner. It was pretty cool. And so they were doing this, they would have little concerts down in the basement, and the basement is really beautifully set up, and for like just these little, I don't know, it was about maybe 50 people in there. And this guy was in there, and he was toward the end, we had stopped the concert, and then we're kind of hanging out, and he was like really sharing some really deep struggles that he was going through, just really wasn't able to get through whatever it was he was going through in his life. And we all just started like, we're like, oh, let's ohm for him. And so we just started ohming and ohming and ohming, and it was like this wave was like coming into the room and just washing over him, and he just started like, I can't remember if he was in the middle or not, but he just like started like bawling, just seeing him like that, just that healing energy, and just seeing how everybody, and we all like went over there, were like touching him, and just, it was almost like the ohming was going into him and like healing his whole being. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, it's that invisible connective tissue. It's that beautiful way that we can really go from heart to heart. Once again, from this book, Healing at the Speed of Sound. From time immemorial, shamans and other spiritual and religious leaders have used vocal and percussive sounds to channel spiritual energy from one state of consciousness to another, which is what you're just talking about. This type of music springs from all traditions, including Indian ragas, Gregorian chants, healing songs from Africa and South America, music from the Tibetan, Hebrew, Sufi, and Buddhist traditions, and even Western lullabies. As I sang a few weeks ago for my mother, that song heals me of the love that I feel for her, having her pass when I was 12. So that song brings me back to the love that I felt for her, that lullaby. And even Western lullabies, and shares certain characteristics such as simple tonal configurations that reflect a sacred unity with nature. Musician and faculty member of the California Institute of Integral Studies, Sylvia Nakach, who happens to do music with David Darling, calls these types of archetypal music medicine melodies, capable of healing body, mind, and spirit by clearing our internal channels and allowing for the free passage of energy between the worlds without and within, which is a perfect reflection of what you just shared. So I'm going to speak something personal about which chants and which sounds are personal to me that I've had divine, amazing, ecstatic experiences with. And before I do that, I'm going to tell you my first relationship to what I sensed as God. I grew up Jewish, and I didn't really have a connection to the spiritual energy of the religion. It was more going to Hebrew school and going to high holy services and et cetera, et cetera. And then I really loved a lot of it, but I wasn't connected spiritually to it. And fast forward the tape, I'm living in New Mexico, and I'm going through this really hard time, and I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And I literally was on the floor of the bathtub calling out, God, if you're there, please hear me. And it was not a gentle, sweet, oh, God's here. It was, God, if you're here, please hear me. And from that moment forward, I have had a relationship that has been spectacular. And it's been really emphasized and deepened in this very room. I've had so many amazing experiences in this very room with unity, with Monday night meditation with Stephanie Lash, with prayer chaplains and the prayers in the back room and other events here. So that was my first relationship to what I felt was a divine presence. And from that point on, that sacred relationship has been so, so powerful for me. Well, one of the chants that I love to sing is the Hine Matov. And one of the reasons I love to sing it is that it's beautiful musically, but also that I start it, and then all of a sudden something takes over. So I just want to give you an example of how we can move from just singing to bringing in presence. So the chant goes like this. Hine matovu manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov sheverachim gam yachad. The words mean, Hine matov, behold how good. Uma naim, and how pleasing. Sheverachim gam yachad, if brothers or people could sit together in unity. Yachad has a higher connotation in that it implies unity with the Creator and not just with other people. It implies an ascended level of universal consciousness. So like the Om, which is such a powerful connection to God, this chant can bring that for me. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen was when I was in Jerusalem, in the Old City at night, and there were Orthodox Jews praying and singing. And the vibrational level of energy was so high, it was just ecstatic and wonderful to witness. So, now I'm going to sing this chant, and then I'm going to ask you to join me. from the place that I feel I'm going to get a little bit more connected. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבר אחים גם יחד. So it's hine ma tov, umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. And don't worry about saying it right. God hears everything. 1, 2, 3. Hine ma tov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. הנה מה טוב שבר אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב שבר אחים גם יחד. So I will sing that over and over and over again, because every time I sing it, there's another level of connection. Anybody have that experience when they're singing a song? It's like all of a sudden you're grooving and it's like, yeah, this is going okay. And then something takes over and you are gone. Ecstatic dance, Sufi dancing is not just voice, it's also moving our body, and it's also just the divine connection. And it can come also in silence. Silence is, I believe, an underused part of our culture. I believe it's an underused part of our culture. I'll say that for my personal experience. When I'm silent and I'm in communion with nature or people or God, silently. And sometimes, like Therese was saying, you know, when someone's in that place of pain and suffering, words just take them potentially away from their experience. So sometimes all they want is to be listened to and heard. No fixing, no placating, no, oh dear, dear, it's okay. Just that reflection, I'm here for you. Just that reflection of silence. It's a very, very powerful tool. Okay, so I promised that we're going to have some interaction. It's going to be a fun interaction. So I need 3 people who would like to come up here, and whatever you're going through around that request, it's okay. But I would love 3 people to come up here right now. Hi. Okay. It was the late 80s, and I was in the barn of this woman named Joni, and it was the beginning of Music for People. I was there at the beginning of this amazing sacred work. And I still have this memory, as if it's right here, about this particular exercise that Anne-Marie just happened to mention, which is also, see, divine presence. And so this beautiful exercise is once again an opportunity for us to connect with that other presence really, really quickly, and spiritually and beautifully and sacredly. So what we're going to do, and I will start, is we're going to say our friends' names, and then, they're going to say their names, and they're going to sing their name. And then you're going to wait a moment, and then you're going to sing it back to them. In fact, I'm not going to do this first, if that's okay. Okay, thank you very much. And so, I'm going to give you the microphone, and just sing your name.
One time?
Yes.
Lisa. Lisa. Lisa.
And then I want you to do that again, and if you want to say it more once, just do whatever is feeling present right now with your name.
Okay, let's see what happens. Yeah.
Lisa, 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 Lisa. Lisa, 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 Lisa.
Let's give her
Arlene. Arlene. Arlene.
And now just however you want. Just being present one time, whatever's feeling good.
Arlene, 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 Arlene.
Wow, I wanted to get my heartbeat rating. Jade. Jade. Jade.
Okay, and this last one, just feel the mama earth underneath your feet, and whatever's coming through.
Jim, Jimmy, James, Jimothy, Jade.
Oh, actually, come back. I'm sorry. Really important. So how did that feel? Very liberating.
In a word?
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Liberating.
Energizing. And
Fun. Encouraging, uplifting, loving. And felt great. Fabulous. Thank you.
Fun, free, expansive, and energizing.
Thank you so much for coming on up here, not knowing what was going to happen. Okay. Oh, that is a really good point. I love when that happens. I wasn't going to say anything about this. They didn't know what was going to happen. Guess what? We never know what's going to happen. Ooh. Okay, so it doesn't only apply to coming up here and singing in front of everybody. It applies to walking outside. And a beautiful hawk flies above. Or a flower opens in front of you. Or a child giggles and you haven't heard the laughter of a child for a while. Whatever it is, we don't know what's going to happen. So being present to sound is also being present to God, is also being present to the divine. So that whole thing about living in the moment, these brave people just did that. Give them another hand. So as a facilitator of this kind of work, which I am going to start doing again, I get to witness this all the time. When you're doing your work out there, and you're working with people, and they have a breakthrough, or they've done something they've never done before, or they've done something they've never done before that they wished they did. How many people wish they could sing in front of people? Honestly. Amen. How many people don't sing in front of people? Amen. So, here's the deal. Ready? As David Darling says, music is your birthright. What did you do coming out of the womb? Wow! Let's do that together. Okay? You did not come out, like, potentially quietly. And that first note that you made was a sign that you were here. You were here, your imprint was made at that moment when you made that glorious sound. That glorious sound. Okay? No matter what your circumstances were. I'm adopted, okay? I could carry that wound and I could go, hey, I came here, I got here. I am so proud of myself. I was meant to be here. My mother had circumstances that were beyond her control. And I got to meet my birth siblings. I never got to meet my mom. My mom who raised me, who died when I was young, was the most beautiful person on the planet. And I got to experience that. But I came out crying. And we all come out crying and wailing. And how beautiful. When you see a funeral and someone's weeping and wailing. No, I don't know if you know that spiritual. No more weeping and a wailing, no more. Weeping and a wailing, no more. Weeping and wailing, going home to see my Lord. Okay, so we're going to have a little more fun. Yep, we have time for more fun. Once again, this whole presentation is all about spiritual connection and God and allowing ourselves to be brave. So I need one more. I need a volunteer. Oh, I need a volunteer. I'm sorry. I need a volunteer who's never played the piano or has hardly ever played the piano or would like to play the piano. Come on now, my good friend. Honey.
I would like to play piano.
Come on over. Have you ever heard the expression act as if? I use that a lot. Act as if I know what I'm doing on the flute. Act as if. That flute, everything that you have ever heard come out of that flute has come from up there. I don't know the notes. Okay, so basically you have that same access to God and music and power. Okay? It doesn't matter your level of proficiency. It doesn't matter if you're going to play Carnegie Hall or make a recording. You can access that really easily. So, welcome Leela Harding. Very, very famous pianist coming to visit Unity. So we're going to do something fun. We're going to do something called Tai Chi piano. So we're going to have you feel your feet on the ground. Exactly. And we're going to have you close your eyes. And then I'm going to gently guide your arms to go behind you. And we're going to have you move your arm behind you. Actually, watch me. You're going to do like this. And then you're going to just...
Not looking?
No.
One finger?
Yep. Then you're going to take the other hand and do the same. And then you're going to put your right foot on the floor. And do that again. You're going to take your hand down. Slowly. One note at a time. Okay. That was an example of playing the piano. So give it up. How did that feel?
It felt experimental.
We have a Philip class in the making over here. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing that makes me shake in my shoes. So did you hear that?
Yes.
So that is the notion of one quality sound that also David Darling teaches. One quality sound at a time. And all you need to know is that the instrument is there for you to play an instrument. Once again, this is not about performance, it's about playing and enjoying. If you've ever held a cello and played a cello, you know what it gives back to you in the moment. So it's the same thing with the piano. And I'm going to teach you how to play piano in 10 seconds. So here's how you play piano and sound good. And it could be only to yourself. But here's how you play piano. You just play the white keys, or you just play the black keys. Okay, you ready? two can get past your fears. Okay. Thank you so much for stepping up and trying something new. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for accessing your music. You have music within you, all around you. I remember when I used to do music for people workshops, I would go into the ladies' room and I'd hear the door go, the creak of the bathroom stall. You hear music all around. So as you go out today, think about where you're hearing the music. And sometimes there's some sounds that we're not really thrilled about. So how can we transmute that and transform that in that moment? Sometimes the best thing to do is to walk away from sounds that are irritating. Music is meant to be our connection to God, our connection to Spirit. And I will conclude this talk with this amazing primordial drum. And if you've ever done a shamanic experience with Norma or anyone else, you know how powerful the drum is. So let's just, once again, one more time, just close our eyes. And I'm just going to play a drum beat. And as I'm playing this drum beat, let it fill your heart, let it fill your belly, let it fill your spirit. And know that the elders are always drumming for you. That the ancestors that we walk upon their shoulders have been drumming forever to bring about unity and peace, to bring about connection. And as you listen to the drum, think of your own heart beating, and to be in gratitude that you have the opportunity to live on this blessed earth, to hear the music, to be the music, to make the music, and to listen. And we're just going to lead you out with a meditation. And Ruth and Michael are going to generously and beautifully play some amazing instrumental music. So if our eyes closed. Spirit, one who holds us and loves us and takes care of us at all times. As we breathe into our bodies, we feel Mama Gaia underneath our feet. And we send energy from the top of our crown chakra down into every cell of our being. Down, down, down our head and our shoulders, and our beautiful arms that help us play an instrument. Down, down, down to our lungs that fill with the breath of life that we are allowed to sing. Down, down, down into our belly, our abdomen, and that beautiful primordial sound comes from there. Down, down, down into our legs, our beautiful legs, our knees, our calves. As we walk upon this earth, we carry our own rhythm. We carry our own song. Down, down, down to the toes, connecting to Mama Gaia, sending this beautiful energy down all the way to the core, all the way through the layers of Mama Earth, to the core and the essence of life, the center of the earth. How beautiful, how miraculous, how gorgeous. And we think and we breathe into this primordial space and bring forth the energies and the colors and the sounds back up through Mama Gaia, back up through our toes, our toe-tapping toes, and our ankles and our feet, and our calves and our knees and our legs, and our beautiful, beautiful hips, and places that we use to sit, to breathe and be connected as we sit in our chairs, up through our solar plexus, such an important part of our strength, through our lungs that breathe in you, that help us sing, to our shoulders and arms and fingers that bring beautiful music, up through our throat that makes the song, and our beautiful faces that help us connect with each other, our eyes, up through our crown chakra, and we send this energy back up to the infinite. There's an infinite galaxy of possibility waiting for us, within us, around us. We bring that energy back down, and it goes on and on forever. We bring it back, we bring it out. It comes back to us forever. So, breathe into your belly, knowing that you are music. You are a connection to divine presence. And any time that you forget, just put those feet on this beautiful earth, breathe in, and say thank you. So, as this beautiful music comes to an end, we get ready for the offering. And during this offering, breathe into that offering your life beauty, your grace, your desire for this unity service to go on as you put it into the basket. We take the offering now as Ruth and Michael take us on an amazing musical journey. offer our beautiful offering prayer.
We say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
Okay, so please give it up for Michael and Ruth.
Thank you.
Your applause is one way of showing them support, and then there's some CDs for sale after the service, so please support them in that way. You will be so happy that you can listen to this music over and over again. I am so blessed and so grateful that you were able to come and that we did it.
Yes, we did it. Thank you all for having us.
Okay, we're going to get into our circle now. And